All right, let's talk about the silent war being fought inside every piece of modern tech you own. It's a global power struggle over a handful of elements that, honestly, you've probably never even heard of. Welcome to the rare earth race.
So let's just jump right in with a question. Think about your smartphone, right? And then picture a brand new EV, totally silent, just gliding down the road. And then think about one of those giant, majestic wind turbines spinning out on a hill. What's the one thing, the one invisible thread that connects all three?
The answer is kind of shocking. They all run on China's permission. Seriously. Every time you use one of these devices, you're plugging into a global supply chain that has this invisible leash, and the other end of that leash is held thousands of miles away.
So, how on earth did we get here, right? How did one single country get this much control over the absolute building blocks of our modern world? Well, let's get into it. This is section 1, China's rare earth chokehold.
First things first, what are we even talking about? Rare earth elements. It sounds fancy, but it's basically a group of 17 metals. They've got wild names like neodymium and dysprosium. And here's the funny thing, they're not actually all that rare in the ground. The problem is, they're incredibly difficult and messy to mine and process. Their real superpower, though, they create these amazingly powerful super lightweight magnets that make all our high-tech gadgets possible.
So for decades, China played the long game. They poured money into this industry. And frankly, they were willing to take on the massive environmental headaches that other countries didn't want. The result? They now control somewhere around 85% of the global processing supply. Some people would even say it's closer to 95%. Let's be clear, that isn't just a market lead. That's a chokehold.
For a long, long time, this was just, a fact of economics. It's just how the world worked. But then 2010 happened. And that's when the world found out that economic power can turn into a geopolitical weapon, literally overnight. It was a massive wake-up call. Okay, so picture this. It's the fall of 2010. China and Japan get into this heated dispute over a tiny chain of islands. And in response, China does something nobody saw coming. They just turned off the tap. They completely halted all rare earth exports to Japan. The effect was insane, and it was immediate. You had panic shooting through global markets. Japanese tech giants were staring down the barrel of factory shutdowns, and car makers all the way over in Europe and the US suddenly realized just how fragile their whole operation was. All of a sudden, these obscure metals were on the front page of every newspaper. The lesson couldn't have been clearer. If you control the resources, you can bring the world's most powerful economies to a grinding halt. Rare earths weren't just materials anymore. They were a weapon. And, here's the really uncomfortable truth in all of this. A big reason the West